Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. I thought we would go through some general news today, since there's been a bunch of little changes that are coming around and little things that moved about, so why not just chuck them all in one video. So first of all, just remember there are Twitch drops going on this weekend for the esports stuff in War Thunder. You can get yourself some free stuff if you go watch the Thunder Cup. I think these streams start today and they're going on Saturday and Sunday. This is specifically for the esports streams, so make sure to check them out. There's also the Team Pack bundle that's still available if you want to get all of the camos from the packs. I don't know whether the packs actually go to support the teams themselves. There is nothing in the article about that. I think it would generally be pretty cool if that was the case, but who knows? I'm guessing there is some kind of revenue share system, because there is revenue share systems all over the place. So this second weekend, you can get the Team Mountain decal and also the Rafale CF3 Tail of Fenrir camo. So those are what's available. You probably have to watch for about 6 hours, which over the 3 days isn't too bad. It's generally okay to get that in. I got in last week for 2 days and got it done pretty quickly. I understand that it's not always everybody's cup of tea, but it is free stuff, so you might as well get it. The next piece of information that I wanted to talk about was with the auction house once again. So weirdly enough, it was kind of odd, but the auction house, we're actually having a look at it yesterday, and if you have a look at the top one bid, it's actually now the lowest bid. So what's ended up happening is they have switched around what is the top bid and what is the lowest bid. So the number 100 bid is actually the top bid instead of the bottom bid. So for example, for the profile icon frame for the Spring Festival, the top bid is now 128 Gaijin coin, because there is no god and we are going into the pits of hell. And the number one bid is actually 25 Gaijin 50. So they've switched it around, so therefore the people who are bidding, first of all, see the lowest bid instead of the top bid now. So therefore you know what you're dealing with and all of that stuff. There is still no protections for scalping on the last day. There is still no maximum. There is still nothing that is anywhere near community focused. And as we've talked about before, when it comes to these things, all of this is incredibly negative for the community. There is generally nothing that is positive from this. And just understand when, you know, people talk about, well, why do people get involved in this? Because it's only 100 people. Like, War Thunder has millions of players. Millions of players play it every day, every week. And all you need to do is you need 100 whales or 100 people who have, you know, too much stuff to be able to bid on these things. That's the whole point of auction houses in video games. It is not designed for the average person. It is designed for somebody who has not too much money, but has a lot of money to be able to throw at stuff. Therefore, it is very much designed around the 0.001% of the game, which is incredibly sad and unfortunate. When it comes to these camos, I think what would actually be best if somebody actually ended up making a user skin out of both of them and sticking it on War Thunder Live, so therefore everybody can get access to the camo, and instead of bidding on it, everybody can have it for free. Unfortunately, when it comes to stuff like this, that isn't available for console. But guess what? Neither is the auction, so it literally doesn't matter. This, once again, is just gatekept content. Very sad to see. I've already put out all my thoughts on it. Hopefully Gaijin changes the system or just flat out removes it, because I think that's the way that would be positive. There's also some updates to the BR changes, but not actual BR changes, instead some balance changes around them. So for example, the A5C, which is the premium jet in the Chinese tech tree, this one is being moved from rank 6 to rank 7, so therefore it's actually way more efficient. You can grind out the whole tech tree with the A5C now at a pretty good efficiency rate, which is really cool. Another thing is for the Japanese F-16A OCU, this vehicle is actually getting access to the helmet-mounted display, so you'll be able to target things a little bit easier in simulator and also off the edge with your camera in realistic and also arcade, which is pretty fun. Another cool addition, which is kind of random, is the ME262A-1U4. The dispersion of the guns has been reduced. It should really just be gun, since that vehicle is the Polkastora. It's the one with the big old donkey cannon in the middle of it. And this is a balance change. Whenever they do changes like this is akin to like reload rate in ground vehicles, because the thing about the A1U4, if they keep putting it down in BR, because they have put it down in BR a few times, by the way, it's going to be at a BR when nothing can catch it, and people are just going to go bonk, bonk, and just take on people. So instead of doing that, they're trying to increase the accuracy of the gun, just to make it a little bit easier to play instead of what it is before. This will mean that it'll be as useful and a little bit more useful than it was. I think in certain situations, the A1U4 is actually very useful, but of course, it is a very specialized vehicle, so there's never really going to be an area where it can sit. Another problem with the ME262 in general is most of them are in pretty weak places right now. Like, they just got massively power creeped by a ton of different vehicles that are there, so unfortunately it's in a bit of a rough spot. The other vehicle that is being changed is the F4C Phantom 2. It is going down in BR, as we talked about, to 10.0, but also the AIM-9B and AIM-9E modifications have been moved in the modification research to Tier 1 and Tier 2 respectively, so therefore it should be a little bit easier to grind through it, which is nice. The F4C is tough for one reason and one reason only. Just doesn't have countermeasures, so it's just like the J35D, like stuff like the F105D that doesn't have flares. It just is in a rough spot because of that, and it makes it very tough to play. As somebody who's ground out a lot of those vehicles around those BRs, especially after they added so many crazy missiles to these BRs, it is really rough to play them. So I would just give them a miss and play other things. America has so many good vehicles around those BRs, there is no need to waste your time getting annihilated by others. I mean, the F4E is in a pretty good place right now. Stuff like, of course, the F104s, the A and the C are in pretty good places right now, as usual. Then also you have, of course, the Harrier that's there, and then you have the F8s, which are in fantastic places too, the Crusaders, which are there, the F8U2, of course. All of these got good buffs last year and generally feel very good. So if there is a vehicle that is underperforming and not as fun to play, well, the great thing about playing the American Tech Tree is you literally will have over 10 other vehicles that you can play that are very fun. The American Tech Tree is fantastic for that. There has also been a response from a developer, Todays, who has talked about the market and gone through why they will never sell vehicles on the auction, part of it. Now, we're going to do a more detailed video later on, talking about this, going through it, and having, a decent look at stuff. But as always, I'm not a huge fan of the writing. Generally, it's in broken English, which is fine, but the sentiment is the problem. And it's, once again, the whole controlling of the whole market thing. It's whenever making discussions about this and be like, oh, well, we're not sure whether to do this, or we're not sure whether to do that, or what about these forces? You control the whole thing. Like, I don't know how else to put it in very simple words. You can control everything when it comes to it. It's a completely closed market which has one person. It's very much set up like an oligarchy. It's God, man. But we'll go through the post, but just to let you know, there is a developer response about it. Just understand, don't get your hopes up as usual. But if you were one of those people, for some reason, who was worried about them selling the vehicles in the auction, I would be incredibly surprised if they ever did that, but here we are at the end of the day. So yeah, look forward to the detailed response. Have a good time. Peace be with you. I'll see you soon. I'd just like to thank GMG Smiley, CD Beans, Chieftain Mike, EMN3 Galaxy, Tulio Pontecorvo, Brendan Quinn, Carrion Crow, Gus Irenicus, Pyman, Wartinder, Teddy, Daniel Stanton, Martinez, B. Young, Ozzy Panzer, Alan Hacker, Liam Shear, Opium Prime, Lafouche, Sem, Aslan, Uncle Bean, and Derek R. for supporting the channel.